let's talk about mistakes, because it's a big one, isn't it? I'm James Anderson, and today I want to talk about the way we talk about mistakes with our children. Because if you're like me, you'll remember a time when mistakes were bad. Big red cross on your page and a feeling of guilt. And if you're a bit like me, sometimes that meant you didn't even try to answer the question, because you'd rather have it blank than have a cross. Today, in many schools, we encourage children to make mistakes. Mistakes are good. Mistakes are to be encouraged. We celebrate mistakes. And I'm going to suggest to you that we want to stop doing that as well. Because some of our children are growing up to be pilots and surgeons, and quite honestly, I don't want them making mistakes. See, the problem is, like much of the work we do around learnership, the way we talk about mistakes is vague and imprecise. And so I want to talk about mistakes in a way that helps us be more nuanced and more detailed about the way we talk about mistakes. Because when we flippantly say, mistakes help us learn, well, not always. Not all mistakes help you learn. And when we say things like it's okay, everyone makes mistakes, well, frankly, sometimes it's not okay to make a mistake. Let's have a quick look about what social media tells us about mistakes. Social media, when you jump on Pinterest and places like that, will tell us that every mistake you make is progress. Well, that's not strictly true. It's every mistake you correct that is progress. And this is where I want to start changing our understanding of mistakes. I want to stop talking about the mistake. The mistake's there, it's right or wrong, whatever. What I want to focus on is not the mistake, it's our children's action in the face of that mistake and the information that they can get. Because if the child doesn't correct it, if they don't look at the mistake, respond to the information, learn the lesson, then it hasn't helped them learn at all. Mistakes teach you important lessons. Again, that's not always true. It's mistakes that you respond to effectively that teach you important lessons. And we all know that. We've all got a friend who's made some really significant mistakes in their life and completely failed to learn from them. Again, it's not the mistake that's important. It's our response to the mistake that I want to focus on. Failing, just another word for growing. When was the last time you saw all the kids who failed paraded up on stage and said, what a great opportunity these children now have for learning? No. Failing might be a word to say here is an opportunity to learn, but it is not the growth. And we often see this sort of statement as well. Every time you make your mistake, you're one step closer to your goal. And it's often associated with that Edison quote that, the 999 ways the light globe doesn't work. What we've got to remember about that quote is that Edison wasn't just making mistakes. And well, that one doesn't work, that one doesn't work, I'll keep going until I find one. Edison was making really deliberate mistakes. He was using the scientific method to get as much information from that one mistake as he possibly could. And so when we talk about mistakes with our children, there's a couple of things I want you to remember. One, mistakes are not good and they're not bad. They're just mistakes. What's important is not the mistake, it's our actions and the information that we can gain from that mistake. And the shift perhaps is best captured by the idea that mistakes aren't good and bad. They're useful or they're not useful. Simple as that. And over the next coming weeks, I want to talk to you about the different types of mistakes we make, so we can stop being vague and saying mistakes help us learn, because they don't always help us learn. And mistakes are part of learning, or all that sort of stuff. It's not always true, and it's certainly not helpful when we're talking to our children about the way they make mistakes.